Hello guys, welcome to another tutorial and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be working with the Shopify API. So we are mainly be working with Node.js and React since Shopify is made with these two frameworks. So I'm going to walk you a little bit through the documentation and I'm going to show you some of the things that we can do with the Shopify API, which in my opinion, it's great. I worked with Shopify for a couple of years and now I'm just we're gonna do a tutorial. We're gonna do an overview, a basic overview, so you guys can see the possibilities that you guys can do. This is for mainly for developing apps. So we're going to create a custom application for your Shopify store so you can extend the possibilities and the functionality of your store. So yeah, so let's get started. We are going to create a theme extension. So this will allow, the Americans to easily add dynamic elements to their themes. So, and we're not going to have to interact with Liquid. We're just going to do everything directly from the API. So I think we should get started with the code. I'm going to show you how to create the project from scratch. I just want you to know we have a few requirements for this tutorial. So first off, you're going to need a Shopify partners account. You're going to need a development store. This is my development store right here. You guys can see it in the screen. I'll show you right now. This is it. So as you guys see, I have a couple of apps here that I've been working on. It's just testing apps. What else? We also need, in order for your app to work and connect to Shopify, you need a server. So your app needs to be connected to a server. So the default configuration, the recommended Shopify recommends you to use ngrok. So it is right here. So you just need to start an account and then connect your app, the out token, with your application. So once you start and initialize the app, you guys, you have a server, running your app and you can connect to Shopify. So, okay, so let's jump into the code. I'm going to just open my terminal. I'm going to close everything here and I'm going to start. So in order to create an app, I'm going to navigate to my desktop. And here we're going to create the application. You just have to type npm init. And then you have to type at Shopify app latest. So this is the way that you create an app. Then it's going to ask you to proceed. Just type Y. And then it will create the app and it will ask you in a second for the name and the programming language that you want to use. I think the options are Node.js, so with JavaScript. You can also use Ruby, which is the mainly programming language which Shopify is built. So here, and also PHP. Okay, so here you can you have to type the name of the app. So let's just say YouTube. Let's provide a name here. So we're going to say YouTube custom app. So we're going to use Node.js here, okay? I would love to try with Ruby in the future. So maybe I'll take a look at the documentation and see if we can make a tutorial as well. Because I've seen in YouTube there's no tutorials with Ruby. So yep. So let's wait. So now you have to wait until all the dependencies install and the app is configured. So we're just going to wait a little bit here. So I'm going to, so while the app it's creating, I'm going to show you the documentation a little bit and the things that we can do, man. So the Shopify documentation has improved a lot over the years. I can tell you that the documentation wasn't like this before. So you have references for the graphical admin API, the REST API. You have the liquid themes. You have marketplaces, so how can your website and your app can interact with marketplaces as well. This is great implementation. You can automate a lot of functions. This is the custom storefront, so you can do this is kind of what we're going to do now. We're not going to do it deeply here. We're just going to create a simple custom app theme extension. This is documentation for I think this is the cost of the storefront. Let's see where app it's created. So yep, our app is done. So let me just close this and see where is my app. So it's this folder right here. So now we're just going to navigate to the folder, but first let's open it with VS Code so you guys can see. Let me open a new window. So I'll show you the structure. I'll do a quick overview and walk through the structure of the project so you guys have an idea. But if you guys are used to Node.js and React and working with the MERN stack, it's pretty similar. So I think it's this one right here. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the application. So this is the main folder structure of your project. Let me show you a couple of things here before we initialize the app and connect it to our store. So this is the main project. You guys have this is the Shopify template. This is where you add the scopes. I'll show you in a second with the help of the documentation what this part does. But basically, every time that you want to access an endpoint to the API, certain endpoints such as customer data, orders are protected. So you have to first add the scopes. So, and when merchants install the your Shopify app in their custom stores, let's say, in their stores, the app ask for permission. So just basic stuff. So yep. So this is another file. You can find a lot of security policies from the Shopify. This is not really that important right now. So this is the Shopify template. This is another just documentation. Basically gives you links to the GitHub, to the app bridge, Polari. So these are frameworks, custom frameworks from Shopify to customize the front end. Maybe we can do a tutorial in the future about that. So this is the basic package, the JSON, so you guys can see other dependencies that you guys use in your project. Basic Node.js a React project. So yeah, this is the package log, the JSON. This is a Docker file for virtualization. This is the git ignore, and yeah, let's just jump into it. And here are the Node modules and VS Code extensions. All right, so that's not that important right now. So this is mainly, so in the web app is where your project lives. So this is the front end. So this is the React project. And right below here, below the Node modules is the server, the Node.js server. So I'll show you, this is the index file. So this is where all your endpoints lie. So let me scroll down here really quick. I don't want to do it too fast, but too slow. I'm trying to find a balance here. So yeah. So let me show you a couple of endpoints here. So as you can see here, how the Shopify object access this validate authenticate session function. So in order for your app to use to work with the API, you need this function. So if we go here, go to type definitions, you'll see this bar right here. So this is all your custom data from your store. So let's just go back to it. So you can see a couple of endpoints here, if I can pronounce that correctly, endpoints here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna start the app so I can show you this in screen. And then we're going to jump right into the code, okay? Guys, I know this has been a lot of talking, so I just want to explain the project a little bit before we start to the code. So just going to open a new terminal here, and then I'm going to just type npm node app. So now we're going to initialize the project. So we're going to install these into our store. So if you guys are doing this for the first time, it's going to ask you to log into your Shopify and configure the server with ngrok. I already have all this configuration done, so it's pretty fast. So I just have to, you can connect, as you guys can see. Let me just expand this window a little bit. So as you guys can see here, you can add an existing app. So add this project to an existing app or create as a new app. So we're just going to create a new app, right? And we're going to name it. So I'll say just the same name, guys. So YouTube custom app. All right, so we're just going to wait a little bit while the configuration starts and it gets done. So this is how it's connecting to my personalized store. So you just have to give it 1 second. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'll show you the front end folder a little bit here. So if you guys are used to working with React, this is familiar to you guys. You guys can see this is the entry point. Well, it's this one right here, the entry point of your app, the index JSX, and then your app. You guys have already, routes configured, so you guys don't have to do that for you. There's a lot of things going on here. As well, we see that we have the navigation menu and the pages folder. I like the structure of the app. It's very well. It's very well organized. You guys have hooks. You guys have components here. So I think the app is ready. Let me see. I think something happened. So. Yeah, I think it crashed. So let's try it one more time. So we just have to do that. Or I think I had to open. This is going to pop up a window. Give me a URL. Okay, so I think it's working now. Always by default. So what's going to happen is going to give me a URL. So you have to just copy this URL and we're going to paste it in the browser. And now, let me just do that. So yeah, this is basically it's going to ask you to install the app in the store. So we're going to go ahead and do that, right? So just install the app. So let's give it 1 second and here you go. You have an app here, so let's just pin this app here so it doesn't disappear if we close it. So yeah, this is our app. We have a page by default, so a nice page structure, and yeah, so I guess we can start working. I'm going to create an extension. So what I mean by an extension, a theme extension, is this. So whenever you configure, you want to update the front end in Shopify, you basically go here and you go to customize and you do everything from here. Or if you have connected your app to GitHub, as I do here, I just do all the changes from GitHub. But you also have an option to create an app extension and just do modifications from here, from your app. So you can create customizations for customers, for merchants that have Shopify stores already done. It's a pretty cool feature. I'll show you how you can implement that in the store right now. So yeah, so let's do it. So this is our project here. So now we're going to create an app theme extension, and then we're going to create a very simple extension so you guys can see how I implement that on the front end. Okay, since our app is already created, let me just we can start the server again. So I'm just going to create the theme extension, so I'll show you right now. So we just have to type npm and run. You have to type Shopify app generate extension. Okay, I'll show you all the options that's going to give you. It's pretty cool. You have a lot of options by default, so Let's run this code. All right, so this is the options that Shopify by default gives you. So you can do checkout UI extension. So whenever customers go to your checkout, basically you can do custom things. You can do pop-ups, special offers, you know, we have delivery customization, order discounts, you know, between orders. This is the one that we're going to focus on, the theme app extension, so we can create custom HTML, CSS, JavaScript for the front end. So I'm just going to tap this, and then we're going to name it. So extensive marketplace extension. Yeah, let's just name it out. And yeah, so we have created the extension here. So if you guys didn't notice, this little folder pop up now, this is new here in our project. So this is where the extension lies. Okay, so now we're going to start creating code. So here, this is the basic project structure. This is where you put the CSS. This is where the liquid files go for every custom extension that you create. This is the localhost file. This is not that important right now in the snippets either. So let's just focus on these two folders. All right. So I'm going to create a liquid file. So let's start. We're going to name it first X, the liquid. Okay. Okay, now we have to just install this theme extension into our app. So we only have to run the server one more time. npm run dev. Oh, I misspell, my bad. npm run dev. Let's try that one more time. Okay, now it's doing the necessary, installing the new dependencies, the new configurations. It may give me an error sometimes because of that git keep, because it doesn't let you to upload the app with those files, so you just have to delete them in case it keeps you that error. Okay, from all these 4 files, just in case you guys try this here. Okay, it gave me a different error, so we have to first create a schema. So basically, you know, this file, our main file, can be empty. So let's just create some code here. So I'm just gonna do span really quick, span. And we're going to say hello YouTube. It's a little bit hard to type and to try to talk to the microphone at the same time. That's why my my error spelling here. But anyways, let's just try to keep going. Right, guys, so I don't want to make this tutorial too big. So now we're going to create the schema. So the first thing that you have to do is name the schema. So you have to open, this is liquid. I'll show you the liquid documentation right now. So basically you open curly braces and then you type your code here. So here we're going to say render. And now we're going to name the app. So let's just name it app snippet, since it's a snippet. I think that's how you spell snippet, right? So yeah, so this is the first thing that you have to do. Now we're going to create the schema the same way. You open curly braces here and then you type schema. Okay. And you have to close the schema as well. And here is where you type JSON. This is the JSON that's going to be implemented in the customization tab. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that right now. So let me just end the schema. So the same way, you type this, and then you type end schema. All right, here. So see, it's asking for JSON here. So we're going to create a very simple, let's say a color. So we're going to change the color dynamically for this text. So let me just type here. We're going to create the schema. And we're going to say this is basic JSON, guys. This is nothing from the other world. So let's say hello world here. We're going to target. We need a target. So it's going to be this specific section. So let's just type section. This is the style sheet. We don't have a style sheet. You put the the path for the style sheet, so wherever your CSS is here. So we don't have one here, so I'm just going to skip it, but I want to show you how you do it here. And the same for JavaScript. You put the JavaScript here. So this is how you link JavaScript and CSS to your file, alright, to your snippet. So now we're going to create the settings here, and we're going to create the logic for the colors. Okay, so settings here, we're going to close, we're going to open square brackets, and we're going to create a label. Okay, so that label is going to tell the color by default that we're going to use. Okay, nothing from the other word. So label here, and we're going to type color. And here we're gonna use the color. I just tried to do that a little bit fast. I'm sorry about that, guys. So let's just use this one, this color by default. All right, so that's basically it. This is our project. Now we're just going to save, and this is my pretty rare extension for Shopify. VS Code is pretty good. So now let's just okay, so now we're going to, I think I have a typo here. I was screaming an error. Let's try it one more time, okay, guys? So npm run dev, and I'll show you how this is implemented into our team. So yeah, this is a great way. I used to do this for my old store in order to organize myself better, because to create custom features, especially big features that you want to keep the code there for you. So wait. So we have an error. Let's try to give the CSS. Okay, so I think it worked. These two fields can be empty, so we're just gonna use these paths by default. We don't have them in store. So now the extension has been pushed to a draft, so we just have to activate that from our partners account. So we're going to go to our store. I'll show you all the configurations so you guys can implement that to your stores, or maybe it's for your custom apps. Okay, so let me go here. We're going to go to our apps. In our Shopify partners, you can see all your apps that you created. I see I have a lot here. And this is our app. So you go here, just have to enable the extension so you can use it in the team. This is the extension. So pretty much any extension that you do here, you first have to go here. And you can also, I think you can also create extensions from here, which is, I think it's pretty cool. I like doing it from the code. Anyways, let's just click here. I'll show you how you guys have to enable. So test working is on draft. So you have to enable in order for it to use it in the development store. See, now you can preview it. So I think that's it. I remember there was an extra configuration. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks. I think let's just go back to your store. I'm going to refresh. Hopefully it worked now. as you guys can see, and you guys can see how we can create, custom extensions, which are pretty cool in my opinion. I accidentally jumped to the code base. My bad here. So this is by default over here, guys, below. I just dragged it above here so you guys have better visuals. Let me close everything here. So let's just, so you go here to add block, and as you guys can see, you can see my extension now, right? So this is the one that we created now. So just basically just go to the partners and enable it. All right, so you guys can see it. If anything doesn't work in Shopify, most of the time you have to go to the partners account and give it permission. Everything with Shopify right now, it's permission, security and all that. Anyways, so as you see, you can see here, this is our custom theme app. So you can create basically anything, man. You can do all types of things, of widgets, of snippets here. I'll show you some basic liquid, because I want to jump to the API and do some API requests as well. Okay, so let's just jump here. Let's do a break, and we can maybe do let's access the theme store. So I say let's access the name of our store. So let's just do an h1 here, and we're going to create an object. Okay, so these are when you do, oh god, so here when you do double curly brackets, you're creating an object, so you're accessing an object, to be more clear. So we're going to access the page object, and we're going to access the title, right? It's right here by default. You guys can see it with the extension for my VS Code. So yeah, basically this is liquid, very simple. You access features from your store like that. You can also do dynamic things. I can maybe show you the documentation at the end of the tutorial. So let's save. Hopefully, yeah, it's push. So I believe if we refresh here, we're going to see the change. Okay, so now we have to come here, and we're going to add the extension one more time, and we should be able to see the name of our store, and it's right here. And yeah, so this is our custom theme. This is the JSON that we created. So the JSON schema is these are ways. It's a way to access your configurations from over here. So make it simple for the merchants to just configure, so they don't have to do it with pure code. And yeah, so here you can access different colors. Okay, so yeah, that was it. Mostly it's the configuration. You have to do a lot of steps, but besides that, once you have everything down, it just comes down to basic customization with CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. So not bad. So now we're going to go back, and we're going to go back to our project. So it's this one right here. Let's see if I think our server is still working, so this should work as well. So yeah, now let's work with the API. Let's do some requests with our server. So I'm just going to go to the documentation really quick. The GraphQL Admin API, it's more powerful. Let me just tell you that. This is a better way and more powerful way to access. If you guys are used to GraphQL, you know what I mean, to work with Shopify. We're not going to use GraphQL in this tutorial. We're just going to do simple requests here, get request. So let's see. I'm going to target a couple of endpoints. I guess I want to start with products. I have some products by default in my store. So yeah, let's just access, I guess, a collection. You guys can see everything here, the endpoints, the data that you would get in return. Everything is very well documented. It's not hard science. So retrieve a single collection. Yeah, I guess we can do that. So we're just going to go back. Let me close these files. Close this file as well. This is our server, right? Yeah. Let me just close everything so it's not that crazy. Okay. So yeah, as I told you at the beginning of the tutorial, some endpoints require extra permission. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I think this one, products, doesn't require extra configuration. Let's just try and go as we go. No. So this is a way. So here's where we're going to type our new. This is just a habit I have, so you guys have a better visualization of what I'm doing here. So let's just create an endpoint. So a function, I mean, so app get, we're going to target, I think it's API, and it's it was collections, right? API collections, correct? Collections. Okay, so we're going to just do a basic async function. We're going to do a request and response. Let's do a try and catch. Let's do an error here and see. Let's do a console log. No, let's do rest distance. Let's maybe, if there's a server error, let's just type here JSON. Here. I'm sorry, I think it's sent here. And yeah, so that's our catch. So as for try, the first thing that we need is we have to initialize a session with our store, right? So we have to pass in the credentials that we have here to our store. So a middleware to verify that, you know, we have access, we have legit access to the store. So it's just basically this, just copy and paste this part right here. Okay, so I think the documentation is a little, it's not to date right now. They have to update that. So basically you just have to add the API here, point. I think it's, man. So yeah, it's here. And as for the session, you have to access the response, locals, then you have to access the Shopify object, and then session. So our current session, okay? So now the next thing that we need, once we have access to our session, we have to pass the ID of the collection that we want to access. This can be done dynamically, but we're dynamically from our front end, but we are not going to work with the front end in this tutorial. So I'm just going to go here. It's in products, collections. This is my incoming stock collection. So this is the ID that you need to pass in order to find the collection. You know, basic get request. You need to pass an ID if you want to find something. So we're going to replace that, and you also have to pass that in the params, so meaning the URL. So right here. So the name of the ID of the collection here. So now this is going to be our response. So let's just say cons response is going to be equal to this, right? Okay, now we just have to send the response, right? So just send the JSON. So now we're going to say response status. See if it's successful, it's going to be 200, of course. And we're going to send or a response, right? So we're going to get a JSON as in response. And yeah, so that was this is our first endpoint. We're targeting the product endpoint from the Shopify API, the collections, So we're going to access all that information here. Let me just save the changes. And now I'm going to go to my front end. Let me show you so you guys have some visuals as well. So this is our app. We're going to do everything from this page right here. So let me go back to my project. This is the front end. These are my pages, but I think it's, if I don't remember well, this is it. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. So this is where we're going to access our product. So we have to, same way, we have to create another function. So wait, I think I want to verify that we are, so let's say that we are where we are. So let me just do a console log and I'll do hello YouTube again. So yep, I think it's right here, but I just want to make sure. Just don't want to do the function in the wrong place. Yeah, we're here. So as if you guys can see my screen, of course you can see my screen. This is the YouTube, the hello YouTube I sent. So yeah, we can just leave it there. It doesn't bother anyone, right? So yeah, let's create a function. So let's say const, let's say fetch collection. It's going to be an asynchronous function as well. I'll just do a console log here to keep it simple. So yeah, in case we have something unexpected in our code. So let's just organize, clean the code a little bit here. Now we have to, the next thing, now we have to access the endpoint. So let's just say const, same way, response, wait. I don't have Axios installed here. I'm more used to working with Axios, so I'm just gonna use fetch. I think it does install by default. I hate fetch, but let's say, and I think our endpoint it's API. Make sure you put these here, otherwise it won't work. So collections, and let me go back here, grab my ID here, so we target the same endpoint, and yep. So now we just console log the response. So we should get an array, a JSON array. So let's say it has to be a wait. And now our response.json. Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, this won't ask for any extra permissions. Let's see, because I honestly don't remember. I haven't done Shopify in a couple of weeks. So fetch collection, we have to call the function in order to see everything. And yeah, let's see. You guys see a lot of things going on here. Session has a valid access token. I think it worked. So, oh yes, it worked. So we didn't need any permission. This is our response from the API. Let's see. This is the collection. Handle incoming stock collection. So yeah, as you see, we're accessing from our custom app, we're accessing information from our admin, so from our API, and yeah, they're displaying it in the terminal. Now we could only just use a hook, a use state, and display the information in the screen, right? Let me see what else we have here. We have the title, we have updated. We have all the information from our collection. Let's see, where are the products? Okay, so since we're done with this endpoint, let's jump back into the documentation and let's target another endpoint. Okay, I say orders here, so I want to do orders. Maybe then we can do customers. So yeah, orders is cool. I do have a couple of orders, made orders in my store, in my custom store, so we can target that. And as you see, the first thing that we see here is that we need protected customer data. So this is a new thing that Shopify recently implemented. So in order to access basically customer data, you have to file a request to Shopify, and they have to approve that. Okay, so it's kind of annoying, but yeah, it's necessary. It's just you have to send. I'll show you how do you do that, everything from the Shopify partners. But I want to target the I'm gonna first create the function and target the API. So you see how the request gets denied for lack of permission. So yeah, this is all the documentation here. So let's just go back into the code. I'm going to go back to my server, and I'm gonna create another endpoint. Okay. So so you guys can differentiate, so it's not that crazy. If you're a beginner here, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So let's just do another one. So let's just do another app get. It's gonna be another get request. We're going to target the API. This time it's going to be, I believe it's orders. So let's just try to do here. We're going to do our request. It's going to send a response as well. Let's create our function. Let's do our try and catch block as well, since we're working with asynchronous code. Let's just copy and paste this because we're lazy. Yep, we're developers, we're lazy. Okay, so let's go back to our doc. Let me just go back here. We're going to need a scope in a second. I'll show you how you do it, how you can configure that. So I'm going to create, maybe we can do, no, because we have to, I don't want to do any front end today. So I just want to show you how do you access. So let me look for retrieve a list of orders. All right, I think this is it. This is a good one. This is a good one. So yeah, we're going to copy and paste these, guys. It's really simple, guys. I feel that everything is done for you. You just have to know how to interact with the API, basically. So remember, this has to be add. Then you have to, let's just copy and paste our session. Okay, and the status here. So we're going to just access all my orders, but you can access be more specific and fulfill orders, unfulfill, pay, unpay, whatever. So yeah, so now we're going to send a response. It's going to be at 200, and we're going to send it as, first we have to response equal, const response, and then response. All right, so I guess that's it. We're going to, I'm just making sure my server hasn't crashed. I'm always checking that. Okay, so let me go back here to our front end. I'm a little lost. That's why I use those comments, to localize just for production, for testing. And once I'm production mode, you can delete all that. So it doesn't really look that good. So yeah, so that was our first function. Now let's create our other function and access our endpoint. Okay, so this time it's going to be fetch orders. Let's do an async. Catch. This is just once you get used to the syntax, it's not that bad. It's just Node.js. Node.js JavaScript. So here I'm just trying to organize, so this is not that ugly. So yeah, so now let's encapsulate our response here. We're gonna do our wait, fetch, and now we're going to say, I think it was API. It's others, right? Yep. Let me know if it was an others in the comments down below. If you have any questions, you can always ask in the comments down below. I'm happy to help. I haven't been very active in YouTube due to work, but I'll try to do some other tutorials. I'll try to do Flutter and maybe React and the Marin stack. I've been working with that lately, so yeah, we can do pretty cool things. So response to JSON, and I guess that's it, right? So let's call our function. Never forget to call your function, otherwise it won't work. So fetch orders. It's getting long, the tutorial. It's almost an hour, but well, I think it's gonna be very useful information for some of you, I hope. And yeah, now let's save here and let's see what happened. Let's see our screen. Let's see our terminal. Did not receive a Shopify argument. Something's happening here now. Let's check. Let's debug this fucker. Okay, let me just, I want to refresh. Let's start fresh. Let's see what's happening with this request. Just so I had a 404. I was trying to see what happened because the request wasn't being sent. This was the I was debugging this thing, and this was the problem. Always make sure that you don't forget the slash in the beginning of the request. It's very important, otherwise it will be a 404. Your request will be sent somewhere else, somewhere in China, I don't know. So let me just refresh this part. I think it'll work now. I'll just refresh. I'll see what's happening. As you see, our other endpoints still working. Everything's normal. So here, I think this is it. We have another response, and as you guys can see, it's a forbidden. Let me just expand this so you guys can see the error. This action requires American approval for read order scope. Okay, so basically what this thing is saying, that we have to add this permission into our Shopify because we are trying to read orders. It's a special permission that we have to do an extra configuration. Another pain in the ass for us, but yeah. So let me just show you how you guys do it. So the first thing that you have to do is go here, and the Shopify configurations, this is where you add all your configuration stores. So, and your scopes. So yeah, so let me show you in the documentation where you guys can see that. I think I already had that here open for you guys. Let me just look that. Shopify API access scopes. So it's here in the API and references and the access scopes and the API usage. You guys have all the access scopes for the endpoints that you guys want to work on. So the one that was asking us was, I'm sorry, I'm a little lost here. The read orders. So let me go back here and look for it. Read content, we'll scroll down, it's maybe here. Read orders. So we just copy, paste this, and yeah, we save. And that's, I think that's pretty much it. I thought I was gonna ask for extra configurations here, since this is a different app. No, I think let's just continue. I'll show you that in the next endpoint. So let me just close this. We have to refresh the app because we configured this document. So I'm going to close the app and I'm going to run npm run dep one more time. Okay, our app is being okay, I think our app is up again, so let's check. Let me just, I'm going to jump here and jump really quick back here. Let's refresh the app. Let's make sure everything's working correctly and properly, and yes, it's working. So see, this pop-up, we have a new update in our app. So every time that we add new configurations, the American has to read the, blah, 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 the information, the new security risk and whatever, and they have to update, okay, the policy, basically. So we're just going to update. And I think after that, we are good and we're going to be able to see our orders. So let me just inspect. Let's go to our terminal here, and I can see the work, probably. I don't know, not really sure. Let's see, this is our, we have a 500 error. So I think it didn't work. Forbidden. Let me check. So now we have another bug. All right, so this is the one I wanted to show you. This is more important. This is regarding the new Shopify policy. So now we have the access scope in our app, but now our app is not approved to access customer data. All right, because orders are basically customer data. So you have to do this extra configuration in the partners, but I want to show you. I just wanted to show you one more time in case you guys forgot. Let me just jump really quick here. So this is what I mean by that. You guys, I'm not gonna go through this documentation, through these paragraphs, but this is the new policy, protected customer data, and it shows you how can you request the access to the, to this data. All right, I'll just show you really quick here because it's the tutorial is getting long. So we're going to go to our app. In the app setup, this is where you do mainly a lot of customizations from your app. You can add your app icon here. You can see we have request access to read all orders. Let me just I think we don't have to do that. That wasn't the, I think for production mode you have to request this access. We want to do what we're doing right now, but for us the problem was this one. Let me just scroll down. This one, the protected customer data. So basically this is what you have to do here. So you select here and then you add all the access that you want to access. All right, so we're just gonna mark all of them, and then you have to file and send this request to Shopify, and they have to approve it. They check your app, they see that your app does what you say it does, and then they approve these for you. So if you're not, as you see here, only apps that are distributed in the app need to submit the access to a review. If you're doing a development store, what we're doing right now, you just have to enable this access and it will work. So we're just save the changes. Let me go back here, and yeah, I guess that's it. But once again, we have to restore our server one more time, otherwise it won't work. Let me just type npm rom dev. Okay, our server is back again. So now we're gonna go back to our store. I'll refresh for our sake so we can see all the changes. So there's no problem. Just debugging, have it just refresh to see what happened. Oh God, let me just, this is too big, I guess. All right. So yes, this is it. So first object is our incoming stock, our first endpoint, our collection, and now we are having another request. As you guys can see, everything is successful. This is our orders object. We have 11 orders. I'll show you right now from the store. So all this information is accessible now here from your app to use it however you please. So you can see all the information for the order, you see currency, financial status. This is mark as pay. You can see everything though. I have 11 here. I'll just show you the data, it's accurate. So I'll just close this really quick. Orders 11, as you guys can see in my admin, and all this information now is accessible from your custom app. So that's great. Okay, so before we end the tutorial, I'll create one more endpoint. I'll show you how to I want to access customers. So let's check because that's also requires the access scope. So since we're here, let's look for customers, read customers. I think it's this one. So you copy and paste the access scope, you go back to your code. I'll just stop the server since we're gonna have to restore that again, since we are making configurations here as the same. It would be the same as in JSON, package the JSON. So read customers, you add the scope. Now we're going to go back to our REST admin API. As I'm gonna tell one more time, maybe in the future I'll do some requests. We can do maybe 10 requests to different endpoints with the GraphQL, which is more powerful. It's pretty cool. So I set customers correct. Let's look customers. This one right here. So yes. So let's go to our get endpoints. If you guys are liking this tutorial, if you guys like and subscribe and share this content, it's really appreciated. That's a great motivation to keep uploading content for you guys. As a developer, I love to contribute to the community, and yeah, thank you. So let's keep going. Retrieve list of customers. I guess this is it. So let's check. Our endpoint is just going to be API customers, and we need an ID. So all right. So I think I only have one customer register in this development store. Not really sure. So let me just do this really quick. So it's going to be the same format again, guys. It's going to be an app. Okay. Don't forget to do the beginning of the API, otherwise it won't work. I had that bug before. Customers, let's do a sync rec and response. Rec and response. Now I think something's missing here. Oh man, there you go. So now let's do a try and catch. You guys are familiar, I hope you are familiar with the syntax already. So now let's just copy and paste or catch, because remember, we're lazy. We're just trying to do everything fast. Oh god. So now we have to go back. We're gonna copy our session access. Okay, we're going to go here. And now we need the customer ID. Remember, you can do this dynamically from the front end. You can pass this information dynamically, but we're just not gonna do that today. So I'm just gonna go to Paul Maxwell for a customer. We're going to copy our ID. Let's go back and let's pass this ID. Okay. Now let's send the response really quick. Okay, let me just make sure I don't have any errors here. I don't want unexpected surprises. Okay, I think the endpoint is ready in our server. It's easy. It's that easy to work with Node.js. So now let's go back to React. Let's just organize these a little bit here so you guys have. I'll upload everything to GitHub so you guys have the code source and everything. All right, so now let's create another function here. So this one is going to be called fetch customers. Store basic syntax. Sorry about that. So let me just copy and paste our console log as an error here. Okay, let's just format the code a little bit here. And okay, let's access the endpoint. We're going to do again a console const response. Let's wait, let's use our fetch function. Let's access the endpoint. So let's say API customers. Now we're going to display everything on the terminal in the browser. So let's just send the response as JSON. So hopefully that works. Fetch customers. I think I was speaking a little away from the mic. Hopefully that doesn't affect the tutorial. All right. Hopefully you guys could hear me. All right. So we're done with our last endpoint. So let's restore server. npm run dev. Okay. That was been a long tutorial, but it's been great. It's a great refresher for Shopify for me, and hopefully it's a very useful tutorial for you guys, so you guys can get started creating your custom apps for Shopify, which I tell you again, it's great. They have great documentation. It's a great way to get started with Node.js and React and learn full stack development. So yeah, our server is done loading, so let's go back to our browser. Let's just refresh here. Let's just jump back and forth. Let's see what's happening, what craziness happening. Our app is still working. And back again, since we change our policy one more time, now we have new access to customers. We have to update. All right. So every time that you do that kind of change in your app, the American is always going to see this, and they all have to accept the changes. So update the app. Right, so that's invalid. All right, so this is a scary. Let me just go back here and see what happened. All right, guys. So now once we update everything here, let's just go to the console here and let's check that everything's good. Let's see. So yeah, we have the first endpoint, our first request, get request. This is our collection. We have our second one. We have our 11 others, our second endpoint. Now I think it's this one. Yeah, this is our customer. See, we have an array. We have as a response an array, and this is our customer. Let's see. We can find our name here. Well, I believe he was named Maxwell or something. You can see anything here? Well, for some reason I don't know. I can see his name here, but yeah, this is the ID. This is the information for our customer. You can clearly see this here. Let's see more information so you guys we can verify right now really quick before we end the tutorial. So yeah, this is the customer, and well, I'm just trying to check her name. Well, I guess not that important, really that important here. You just, let's check the ID, 653444. Let's just close our console here and let's go back to PO 653444. This is our customer. So yeah, guys, that was it, guys. That was our final endpoint. It was a long tutorial. Let me just recapitulate. Let me just do a summarize of everything that we did here. So we work with the Shopify API. We create a custom app. We basically create 3 endpoints. We access our collections, we access our orders, and we access our customers. So those 3 functions access this endpoint right here, our collections, our incoming stock collections. We access our customers, and then we access our orders. And the possibilities are endless. You can do pretty much whatever you want with this information. It's really good. It's really powerful, guys, I'm telling you. And the other thing that we did is we created a custom theme extension, so you can your app has the power to create pre-made, custom, I don't know, man, that's your choice, just let your creativity fly. And we create another a theme extension here. I'm not gonna go back, and once you add that, you create this folder, and this is the folder structure. Just to summarize, this is where you do put your style files, and this is where you put the main code. This is the main code for our extension. We access the page title with some liquid, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It was a long tutorial. That's the 4th time I say that, but yeah, it was a long tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully I will do another tutorial anytime soon. And yeah, thank you. If you made it this long, thank you again. Thank you, and have a great night. Bye bye.